everybody's day going? Now that I finished the introduction, which I feel like needs to be a staple in the whispering voice for me at least. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Today marks the day where the soft-spoken ASMR comes out. Do I know if you guys will enjoy it? I don't, but I'm hoping this video can relax you guys in any way, shape, or form. So whatever you got going on, I wish you the best of luck with it. And I just wanted to say to you guys, I am so incredibly grateful, on top of what I've already said, for all the love and support that you guys have given me. I've tried to be as active as possible with replying to comments and, showing love back to you guys, because you are the ones who run the channel in my eyes. I mean, I'm just here whispering a mic, but I think you guys really give it personality, and it's been so incredibly nice to, comment, hear some people's stories, and have little conversations with you guys. It really does make my day, so I appreciate you all. Thank you. In today's video, as I posted in the last one, I will be doing soft-spoken, as you can hear. Study with me. Kind of like I'm really gonna cover such a small fraction of what I have been learning in this class, because it would be absolutely impossible to go through 108 different segments of human anatomy and physiology with you without it being a 2.5-hour video, which I definitely cannot post, and I feel like it's a little too repetitive for the listeners. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I just feel like too long of an extended period of time is gets a little too similar. But if you guys want to see a longer variant of another study with me, I obviously don't have classes after this final for a month, but I will make a longer one when I start up my classes again. Obviously, I'm going to be doing even harder things than I'm doing now, so. But without further ado, we're just going to talk about some very basic human anatomy and physiology, go through some descriptions, and kind of take you guys through a couple lessons that I've learned throughout this semester, and experiences that I've had. But as of right now, we are hoping I have an A in the class. I think I have, when it comes to grade point average, I think I have sorry if you guys heard that in the back, it was my leg, I swear. This chair, I try not to move on it because it makes so much noise. That's why you see me in the same spot the entire video, and I do not move. And yes, I promise that was my leg. I swear. I don't know if you heard it or not, but now I'm gonna move, so you might have heard it again. But yeah, this year has been pretty difficult and hard to go through. I think my grade is like a 96, 96.8 or something like that in a grade point perspective of it, not like a letter grade. Obviously, the letter grade is an A, but this test is worth 15% of my grade. So I'm hoping to only go down 2 or 3 points. So get an 85 or above. And then I'll be, obviously in the A range, which is what I need for quality points to get into the clinical program. So enough about all that. Let's do some terms and definitions. So, let's see the definition of anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is the study of parts in your body and the locations where they are. And the physiology aspect is the breakdown and the explanation on how those parts actually function and work together in your system to create the complete human body. What else? let's see. The functions of the plasma membrane. It has a lot to do with filtration. So obviously, like taking in and absorbing nutrients and removing waste from your body. Cell formation. And then obviously another protective layer. Yeah, there's a ton of different functions, and it's very, very descriptive as to what it does when it comes down to like each and everything that it does do, which I could not explain to you right now because I don't know. But I know the majority, which I feel like I think I'll only have to know the basic normal stuff. But the definitions of osmosis and diffusion, it has to do with solvents and solutes. For osmosis, the solvent is water. I'm trying to think of an example. It's like putting a substance into like almost like a plastic sack or something that's like semi-permeable. So there can be things that enter and like leave in terms of liquid and solutes. But yeah, so for osmosis, I obviously remember it is the one that includes water being the solvent. Wasn't too descriptive, but that's how I'll get it right on the test, hopefully. Let's see. We're just kind of going around. A big thing for this class is obviously the way that muscles, bones work together, and how things stretch, how things extend, how things flex, stuff like that. A lot to do with locations and directions. So, for example, I'll give you three. There's superior and inferior. When you're talking about body regions, you can use it for bones, muscle locations. Superior is obviously up here, the top of your head, and inferior is lower. So, for an example, your femoral region, which would be your thigh, is inferior to your thoracic region, which would be your chest. And you can kind of like, I wouldn't say mix and match, like probably won't be a question that involves like a bone, like your radial bone in your forearm is lateral to your linea alba, which is a line that goes down from your basically your belly button line in between your abs. But yeah, so there's superior and inferior. There's lateral and medial. There's ventral and dorsal, which is basically front and back. I think of dorsal like a dorsal fin. It's on the back of a dolphin. What else? Proximal and distal. Proximal is used for your appendages, so like your arms and then your legs. Proximal is the closest point of attachment. So obviously your arm attaches right here from your shoulder. So like your brachial region is proximal to your antecubital region, which is right here. And then your legs is kind of the same thing, like your very, very upper leg is proximal compared to, your feet. A lot to do with eyes. So knowing the cross composition of, the layers. So you have your sclera, knowing the inside, like vitreous humor we had to know for a cow eye. Tapetum lucidum, which is something that they have, like when you take a picture, why their eyes are red. I think that's what our teacher said. Your cornea, people obviously know, like your pupils. Your iris is the thing that gives your eye color. What else? Your lens. Something that actually surprised me when we were learning is I thought your lens, which is, obviously inside your eyes, you know what your lens is. It's actually like, it's like fibrous. So when we dissected a cow eye, when we dissected a cow eye and took out the lens, like it literally looks like a spider web inside of your eye. It's really cool actually. And then I remember like suspensory ligaments is like the fibers that actually go and connect into your lens. We need to know, let's see, CNS and PNS. That almost kind of sounds bad, but your CNS is your central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord. And then your PNS, your peripheral nervous system, is your nerves inside of your body. So yeah, I mean that's really all there is to know. Well, actually, no. I mean you kind of have to identify the parts of it, but I won't get too deep in it. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look up a couple things. So this video is gonna be a little bit longer. I'm pretty sure. I thought that I didn't have permission to upload more than 15-minute videos, but I think after I became not verified, but like got views and subscribers. Excuse me, I'm sorry, like my stomach's bugging out right now. I'm pretty sure I can post longer than 15, so we'll make it like 20 minutes. But for the next one, we're gonna do kind of specific ones. So some of these are just understanding. Like for this one, it's understand the role of acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction. So let's look that up together. Okay. What does I think it's acetylcholine do in the NMJ? Okay. At the neuromuscular junction, acetylcholine is the key neurotransmitter that transmits the nerve signal to a muscle, triggering a contraction. I'm going to write that down at some point, but this is kind of like a general study with me, and understand some terms. So I kind of take this all in when I read it, and then usually when I see a multiple choice question, it's pretty similar. It kind of just like pops up in my head, and I'll remember it. So it's good to know. Acetylcholine transmits nerve signals to your muscle, and then that triggers a contraction. Let's see. Knowing all the vertebrae down your spinal cord. So the way that I learned this when I watched the video was breakfast at 7, lunch at 12, dinner at 5. So your cervical cranial nerves up here. There are 7 vertebrae. I think there's like an 8th one that is something different. I know your brachial plexus is right here, but I don't know if there's an 8th vertebrae at the bottom of your cervical one. If anyone wants to explain that to me in the comments, I will be happy to listen. We didn't learn any specific nerves. Like obviously your cervical has your phrenic nerve right here. But we didn't learn any specific nerves for the thoracic spinal nerves. There's 12 of them. Each of them are pretty easy to remember because they're labeled by, a letter, and cervical is C, thoracic is T, and then towards the bottom is lumbar and your sacral cranial nerves. So that's an L and then an S. And then it's like C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. So all those, each vertebrae has the letter number with it, which is how how far down things are. You would say, like something goes from C5 down to T1, so it ranges from the 5th vertebrae and the cervical spinal nerves all the way down to the 1st vertebrae in the thoracic region. Okay. Let's see. I want to think of a question that I can ask you guys in the comments, and everybody can put their answer, just kind of like an interactive thing. let's see. There's gotta be something, right? Let's do a little bit of paper tapping. Let's see. Okay. I want people in the comments. I want people in the comments. I just want to see who can do it first. This is a little competition thing. No looking it up, no cheating. What are the 4 types of primary tissue? I want to see who knows that. If you don't know it off the top of your head, wait and give someone else the chance. Don't look it up. But I just want to see how many like health studies students we have in here, people doing prereqs to get into nursing or being a rad tech or something, someone who's taken human A&P. Someone tell me the 4 primary tissue types. I was going to say it in this video, but I'm actually going to let you guys do it. So, just for a little change up, I'm just going to tap the paper a little bit. You can see the long list of terminologies and definitions I need to know before this test occurs, which I have 48 hours for, so it's not looking great. I really do love the sound of, tapping, especially when it's by paper, because it sounds like it just sounds so good. Like people kind of like crumble paper sometimes, which I think sometimes is a little aggressive, but just the tapping in general, it's really relaxing to me. Okay, we'll do 2 more on the back side. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, let us. This is there's just a lot of stuff to take in. So the prompt we are typing in is understand basic parts of the left and right side of the brain, aka the cerebral hemisphere. Sorry, I was blanking on that. Okay, the left side of your brain. So this side handles logic, language, so things like, speech or writing and analytical thinking. Well, the right side, this from this, manages your creativity, spatial awareness, so where you are, like your location, or, art or music that you're making. And then also the emotional, tone of speech, being able to add like a sadness tone to your voice or a happiness aspect. I mean, I'm sure you can get that. But I'm sure you can understand that, because I feel like it's pretty basic, like for the breakdown, not the human A&P version of what I was saying. I know you guys are all geniuses, definitely way smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. So let's see. And then the last one we're gonna do, just kind of one that's a little out of the box. I guess not really, because I need to know it, but it's gonna be the basic definitions for spinal reflexes. This is gonna be the stretch reflex, the Golgi tendon reflex, the withdrawal reflex, the crossed extensor reflex. So a little breakdown. The stretch reflex is obviously when you are, when a muscle is stretched, that is, the reflex is to contract it. The Golgi tendon reflex helps to control muscle tension and prevents tendon damage by causing muscle relaxation when tension is too high. Withdrawal reflex is usually when you experience something like pain. So putting your hand on a hot stove and immediately pulling back is a withdrawal reflex. And then crossed extensor helps maintain balance. Usually you're working with like the withdrawal reflex. And an example would be when one leg experiences like a painful stimulus, your other leg extends to help support the body. Um, so it's like contralateral. Yeah, that's the word. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that study with me. I learned some things. I obviously went through a couple things that I did know, just because I want it to be a little informative as well. I have been studying on this, so it's a little study with me session, kind of remembering the things and, pulling information that I haven't talked about since the first 3 weeks of this class. But with all that said, whether it be the morning, the evening, or the afternoon, I hope you guys have an incredible rest of your day. And if no one told you today, no one's told you today, I'm proud of you guys, and I always will be. If you guys are using this to sleep, study, or just relax, I hope it does the job. So I will catch you guys in the next one. And good night, everyone. Peace out.